for most people, right? For some people, it's all right. As far as my clients are concerned, I really harp on their form and technique to make sure that they're doing everything to the utmost quality, right? Making sure they're in the right plane of movement, making sure we're isolating the right muscle groups, so on and so forth. What a lot of these programs don't do is emphasize, your form, proper form at that. It just gives you a list of workouts, sets, and reps. And of course, that's going to be beneficial for a lot of people, but for the vast majority of people who think that they're doing a movement correctly but actually aren't, it's not going to benefit them a whole lot, to continuously do the wrong muscle movement and expecting a different result, right? So after years and years of practice, it's really, occurred to me that form is bar none the most important thing in the gym, right? It's going to be the difference between developing the right muscle groups and then not. Simple as that, right? So if you follow me on Instagram, if you look way back at my leg pictures, you'll see that my muscles were there, right? But I didn't have a whole lot of definition. I didn't have a whole lot of development, right? And I was working with 400 pounds, on squat, you know, 500 pounds on deadlift on a regular basis. I'd be doing 2 to 3 leg days per week. I'm doing lunges, step ups, squats, obviously, deadlifts, leg extensions, leg press, so on and so forth. It didn't occur to me until I started bodybuilding that I was doing some of these movements incorrectly for what I was trying to achieve, right? Um, Here's a prime example, right? So, most people, when they're doing a bicep curl, they're gonna come here, right? Looks correct, right? This is actually incorrect, right? So what's happening when I'm doing this movement is I'm shifting my elbow forward, which is getting my anterior delt involved. If you got a lightweight, go ahead and do this movement and then feel that anterior delt, you know, give a little bit of help, right? The proper curl form is this, right? See how my elbow stays back and I'm coming up and I'm squeezing at the top of the movement. That's more isolating, right? Big difference, big difference. And so if you look at my later pictures on Instagram, right, and you see my legs, they're developed completely. My vastus lateralis, vastus intermedialis, vastus lateralis oblique. You can see them all very clearly. As but compared to before, I wasn't able to see those muscles, and the reason is because I wasn't training them properly. I was in the wrong plane of movement to be training those specific muscles, right? Another thing is momentum. I see far too many people using their momentum during sets and reps. If the weight is too heavy for you, put your pride to the side, you know what I mean, and use lighter weight. You should be able to slowly complete the movement from top to bottom, squeezing at the end of each rep, excuse me. But anyways, like I see far too many people like that they start using that momentum on rep, 4, 5, 6. That's way too early to be using that momentum now. Momentum is not always a bad thing, right? So if you can control, I would say, 70 to 80% of your reps, and then you start fatiguing after that, and you need to throw a little bit of momentum in there in order to complete the rep range, go ahead and do that. But it becomes a problem when you're doing it for every single rep, right? You're disengaging the wrong muscles, you're engaging the wrong muscles, right? And so I wish I could call people out on this, because I know tons of people who do this, but and I just try and tell them slow down, right? Because what it does is it forces you to use proper form and acknowledge that you need a little bit lighter weight in order to achieve the movement. Like if you're bench pressing, let's say for instance 225 pounds, if you gotta bounce that thing off your chest, it's too much weight for you, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead and put it back. But if you can lower that thing almost like a negative rep and then push off, that's a pretty good weight for you. You know, you could be using that, and then it could be benefiting you in a lot of different ways. And so that's why I'm not a fan of the online training. People always ask me, "Hey, can you make me a program? Can you build me this ab program, build me this arm program, leg program, so on and so forth." I'm hesitant because it's just like I could, yeah, but I'm gonna pretty much just be stealing your money because you're not gonna be doing it correctly, and I already know you're not because 90% of the people I see do this movement do it incorrectly, and that's not to say that I'm the end all be all, know what I'm doing and everything like that. But I have been doing this long enough to understand what I'm doing to the fullest extent. I've been playing sports my whole life. I just recently got into bodybuilding, got my pro card, and then I have my bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science. So I do know a little something, when it comes to the art of lifting weights and getting in shape.